for any questions he cares to pose.
Yeah, well, thanks. I have a few questions, quite a few questions, actually. But let me begin by, I want to get something straight right off the bat here. So I keep hearing from our witnesses that this is a reasonable proposal. The proposal is you want to make 10 years of deep, devastating cuts to programs that help regular people, my constituents, 10 years of cuts that will probably impact this country for generations, an entire decade of austerity, and in exchange, if I get this right, you have agreed to not push the entire economy off a cliff for about a year. I mean, does that sound in any way reasonable? You know, what happens a year from now? You demand even more cuts to pay for bills that we've already accumulated? I mean, what's next? You take our firstborn for another 20 years of cuts? I mean, how does this end? This is absurd. This is not the way we should be doing the people's business. This plan, and I use that term loosely, is no different than an extortion. You know, it's really interesting because my Republican friends champion these tax cuts for billionaires and millionaires and big corporations that added trillions to our debt. No talk about the impact on the deficit or the debt. None. You know, oh, don't worry about it. It's not an important issue. But now, when it comes to dealing with programs that impact regular people, you know, we talk about cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting. Let's balance the budget on the poor. That's what my friends are suggesting here today. Now, with that said, let me begin by talking about the process first, because this bill was introduced less than an hour ago, which is interesting, less than an hour ago. And I think we all deserve, and the American people deserve, some answers on the process here. So for months, this Republican majority has been promising a more open process. Yet today we're considering yet another bill that has not gone through regular order. And not just any bill, this is a massive 300-page plus bill that will hurt communities and hurt everyday people. No hearings, no markups. I think we just got the CBO score about 15 minutes ago. Certainly no input from Democrats. Drafted behind closed doors, I assume in the Speaker's office or in some office here. So much for keeping promises. You know, Speaker McCarthy said, and I quote, "You can't just throw something on the floor. That's why the committee will be a better process. You can't just throw something on the floor." That's not me talking, that's Speaker McCarthy. So I guess for my Republican friends here, I guess my first question, and it's a yes or no question, do you agree with Speaker McCarthy that going through committee is a better process? Chairman Smith or Arrington, or, I mean, do you believe that going through committee is a better process?
I always believe regular order is the way to do it. Unfortunately,
okay, why didn't you do it then?
And I'm not in charge.
Well, who's in charge?
But when you say we've had hearings, we've had numerous hearings in the Ways and Means Committee in regards to every proposal that is in this bill from the Ways and Means. In fact, we had a hearing last week on all the green credits that we're repealing. And in fact, just 30 minutes ago, JCT reported that it's not costing us $271 billion. It's at minimum is over $570 billion from your Inflation Reduction Act.
And so were all those bills, all those hearings, were there markups on these legislations in the Ways and Means Committee on all this legislation that's incorporated in this?
I think you know the answer to that.
Well, the answer is no. I mean, and I think some members may be confused about the phrase regular order. Recently, my Majority Whip Tom Emmer said last Thursday, and again I quote, "On our side, everything is going through regular order. This is the debt ceiling. This is something that was done by the committee as the whole," this is his quote, "which is the entire conference, and it effectively has gone through that process." Freedom Caucus Chair Scott Perry, and I love this, seems to have the same misunderstanding. He said, and I quote, "This is regular order. If we have consensus, I'm not sure we need to go through a committee markup." That's what he said. So it sounds like my GOP friends think that because the entire Republican conference got together and wrote this in secret, that means it went through regular order. So just another simple question. Can any of you define what regular order is? I mean, I'll help you. I mean, hearings, markup, then you come to the Rules Committee, then you bring it to the floor, have votes and debates, and this bill has not gone through that process, no matter how you want to stretch the definition. And to be clear, consensus among one party does not mean you can skip a markup and go straight to the floor. And again, these are the issues that you raised here when I was chair. I mean, these are the issues you all complained about. You said you could do things 1,000% differently. And on a major bill like, I'm just keeping. You're the ones who complain, so I'm just trying to keep you to your word here. Yeah, I mean, so